Hi everybody, my name is Abby and I'm currently in school for graphic design. Since last week was the 4th of July, I decided it'd be appropriate to do a tutorial in Photoshop on how to make a waving flag. This tutorial will give you somewhat of a baseline of a few tools a designer may use for his or her project. This is a really easy tutorial. I'm going to go step by step with you and hopefully you can come out with the same ending product as me when we're all finished. Before we get started, you just want to make sure that you have a computer, a Mac or a Dell work, or any computer that you could have the Adobe Photoshop program for, which I will scroll in to show you. This is the Adobe Photoshop. Some of the other programs that are used in graphic design are Illustrator, InDesign, and Bridge. Bridge is also used for photographers. The only program that I don't have right now is the Dreamweaver program that is for websites, and also the CSS coding that you can do in there. But today we're just going to be using Photoshop. So you just want to make sure that you go on Google or any search engine that you want to use and find a flag that you wanted to use. I will be using the American flag today, obviously, for the 4th of July. But you can use any other flag that you would like. So before we get started, we're just going to click on the Photoshop, and then we're going to go to File, New. I'm doing a 7.5 by 5 document size. If you want to go bigger or smaller, that's fine. You just want to make sure that you have enough room around your flag. So we're just going to name it Waving Flag, or whatever you would want to name your document. And then when we're finished, you press OK. So this is what the document will look like. It's just a blank sheet of paper. That's what it looks like. Next, we are going to place our flag. Mine's actually on the desktop. So wherever you saved your flag, you just want to go find it and click place. So here's my flag. We do want to make room for it, but we do also want to make room for the pole that we will be putting in on the side over here. So I'm just going to move it over a little bit more. You just don't want to get it all the way over onto the side like this. You just want room for your flag to be able to float there. So once you are satisfied with your position, you can place it. And next we are going to feather the flag, and this is a step that you must do. We are doing this because we want to cover 97% of the flag and leave 3% of the flag open. The reason for this is once we do the wave, if we didn't feather it, the wave would go all the way on the side there and it wouldn't look realistic on the pole whatsoever. So once we get the selection made, we are going to feather it. I do have the feathering tool right up here on the top, so I can put it there. Otherwise, if you don't have that, you can go to Select, Modify, and Feather. And this gives you the option of putting in your whatever feathering you're doing, but we're doing 50 today. Okay, so now we have the flag feathered. Next we are going to do the wave. So that's under Filter, Distort, Wave. On the instruction manual that I did hand out to you, it does give you the numberings on there, so it should be 69, 75, and 29 in both 100. You do not want to repeat the edges at all. And we don't want it triangular or square. We want it to look realistic, so we're going to keep it that way. So once you have that all done, we click OK. And your flag should look like this once we're finished. Now we are going to make a new layer for the brush strokes that we will be doing to make shadows into the wave. So here is the layers panel right here. If that's not showing up, don't panic at all. You can just go to Window and click on the layers. So we're going to make a new layer and we're going to name it Brush Stroke. It's easier to name each layer because you kind of end up with multiple layers. If you're doing an extreme project, you could have like 50 or 60 layers, but we're only going to have 4 layers today. But I do like to get in the habit of naming each layer. So when you're finished with that, you can click OK. So now you want to make sure your layer is highlighted. You don't want to be on the flag layer. You want to be on the brush stroke layer. Next, we are going to go and find the color that we need. I indicated a dark gray color. The color panel is right here. You can double click on it. If you wanted to pick a different color, you can always scroll around and go move things around and pick your color that way. And what I indicated was 575757. So you can just type that in down there on the bottom. And when you're finished, you press OK. And your color shows down here also. This is your foreground color, and our background color is white. Just want to make sure that the foreground color is there. So we have that. Next, we are going to be going on to the tool panel again, which is this right on the side over here. We're going to be doing the brush tool. Once you are clicked on the brush tool, it does indicate that we are doing a 13 hard edge brush, which you can find all the brushes in this paneling right here. The 13 is right here. I do already have the 13. So we will just click OK. So now we are just going to be doing 4 vertical brush strokes through the wave. Just like this. It's okay if your lines are not straight. Don't panic. It's okay if they're not straight. So now that we have that done, we are going to apply the wave filter once again onto our brush strokes. So we are going to go to Filter, Distort, and Wave once again. Don't go and press OK again because we are actually going to be changing the numbers on here, which is indicated onto our instructions. So it's 80, 281, 5, and 48. When you're finished, you can press OK. So it will look something like this. Next, we are going to actually blur the strokes. So we're going to go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and we want 9 pixels. So I'll just type that in. And then when you're done, you can press OK. Now we are almost all finished with the stroke line, but we almost done. We have to go to the Layers panel actually. And right here we are going to click on a soft light. So now it's like hidden into our flag. Since it's white in the flag, I can actually show you what it would look like in the background. You can unlock the background, and I could change the color in the background if I wanted. So let's just put it as the dark color. So now you can kind of see the shadows where they were before. We just want to keep it the white background color. So I'm just going to set it back to white. So back to the brush stroke. So now we're going to add a pole onto our flag. So we're going to want to add a new layer. So click on the new layer. We're going to add pole. Alright, and now we're going to go to the tool panel once again. And we are going to click on the shapes. We want to have the rounded rectangular tool. So you're just going to click on there. And you do want to keep the same color as before when we did these brush strokes. So make sure that your gray color is still the foreground color. And then we're just going to make a pole. And it's okay if it goes down like that. Mine already did the effects and everything since I've done this tutorial a few times. So my computer knows what to do since I've done it a couple of times. But it should just be dark gray if all the effects come off. It'll just be like that. It would look like that. To actually make the effects go on, we are just going to double click on there. And we do just want to do the inner shadow, B-level, and emboss, and the gradient overlay. And then you can just press OK. I already had them on there, so I'll just add them on there. And that's what your flag should look like when we're all finished. Can move your pole around if you're not satisfied with it. Kind of make it that way. So there. And that's what your final project should look like when you're all done. So congratulations for finishing your first Photoshop tutorial. Now that we have finished our tutorial, I hope that you enjoyed making the waving flag and have learned something new. If you do get a chance to do more tutorials, I would go for it. The more that you do them, or even like mess around on Photoshop, the better you get with it. It is fun to, it's not all for graphic design. A lot of other people do it just for fun on the side. So if you like doing this tutorial, I would totally go and do more. So I really hope that you enjoyed this, and I thank you very much for listening and doing my tutorial today. I hope you guys have a great day.